Rod man. We are back again for another week of the Fin Out of Water football show. You already know. Go ahead and get them round of applause. We already got the homies in the chat, man. Shout out to Cap already in the chat,
Yeah,
man. We love y'all
OG
boys,
Cap.
man. OG Cap in the building, man. So, Rod, man, we got to load the show as you already know, man. So, we are down 2 weeks of preseason football. It is so beautiful to actually see football, see football jerseys, see the best athletes in the football realm playing football again. It feels magnificent. Like, I am super excited about this season. I'm so happy that football is back. I know we say that all the time, bro, but I'm going to keep saying it, goddamn it. I don't care, bro. It's been a long season, and this is why we are here for, man. So, week 2 was super exciting. There were some really interesting games. This is probably the most interesting batch of rookies that I can ever remember, from Travis Hunter to Shedeur Sanders to Dillon Gabriel to Jackson Dart to Tyler Shuck, who effing sucks. Oh my God, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is a lot to really digest, man. So for today's episode, man, we obviously gonna break down the Lions Dolphins game. On top of that though, I want to go ahead and have a discussion about what I'm seeing for the first time ever, which is a civil war between two fandoms for quarterbacks that are all on the same team, bro. I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. I want to go ahead and have a conversation about Ashton Jeanty and what his actual ceiling is. And then we're going to go ahead and preview the NFC West, man. Before we get to that, we have to get to this, man. So, Dolphins, Lions, Miami Dolphins got their first dub of the season, man. 24-17 against the Lions, man. So, Rob, we do see the hat is back. The hat is here when our team wins, man. So, let's go ahead and just recap the game real quick, man. Like I said, it was 24-17. The Dolphins had 356 yards on offense, 259-yard passing, 97 yards rushing. They had 9 penalties, and they won the time of possession. So, Rod, what was your biggest takeaways from this game, sir?
Well, look, Herbie. I mean, considering that the sky was falling due to reports from joint practices, I will never forget this, Herbie. Just how ridiculous people were acting about. Oh, the Dolphins apparently had the worst joint practice of all time. It was nice to see that the offense got back into a bit of, into a much better flow than it was last week. And we had a lot of impressive performances, Herbie, and I'll get to those when we get to what went right, what went wrong, and things like that, Herbie. But it was nice to see that the backups were able to run the offense more efficiently. I will save my specific thoughts on Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers when we get to that. But I was pleased with what I saw, Herbie. It's pretty. I'm not a person who takes too much stock in the preseason, whether things go really good or really bad, because I know it's all just an evaluation process. It's a planning process. Teams are trying to figure out what players they want to keep. They're trying to figure out what plays they want to run. So they don't show any of their real stuff. So preseason is just that fun appetizer before the season. So, but generally speaking, Herbie, when a Dolphins win is always a beautiful thing, preseason or not, preseason, regular season, playoffs. You feel me?
Nah, this is very true. A win is a win, whether it's in the preseason or not. But I do want to go back to what you were talking about in regards to the joint practice. It was not the end of the world. It was largely overblown. However, whoever number 23 was, man. I don't know who that is. But that might be one of the worst practice videos I ever seen. Like, if I was him, I would make it my life purpose to get that expunged from the internet, dog. Like, his kids are gonna have to grow up and see that one day, bro. Who was that? I'm sorry, who was
I
that?
think it might have been, if I'm not mistaken, that might have been Jason Marshall. I could be wrong on that.
Who?
Wrong on that, but I think
Listen, Amon St. Brown gave that man the business. Shaquille O'Neal has a famous quote, but barbecue chicken. Dude was barbecue chicken the whole joint practice, dog. It was bad. All right. But it is beautiful to go from that and to ultimately get the win a couple days later, bro. So again, you can't really take things from the internet or what you see and whatnot, you're never gonna really get the full picture in practice, right? It's how things were cut up. We didn't see all the times that Jason Marshall might have won on his routes or might have won on his one-on-ones. But what we did see was not good. I will say that it was not good.
The boys had it bad, but you know what's crazy, Herbie? Okay, they got cooked at that practice, and then the very next day the Dolphins bounced back. Crickets. You don't hear a peep from anyone or anything. And you know what? I'll get to my thoughts on that when we get to the Dolphins versus media discussion.
No, facts. We'll save it for that because we're gonna have that discussion anyway, man. So, while we're on the topic, man. So, Rob, what went right for you? What went wrong? And what the fuck? Starting with what went right.
Listen, Herbie, for this version of what went right, I'm gonna be just more so just having just simple takeaways based on like some of the players that I've really liked in this preseason, right? And the first person that comes out to mind, um, KG Beast, aka Kenneth Grant. I'm not going with him, but he's been getting a lot of love, and from what we can see on tape and what we're hearing in camp, he's everything that he was advertised to be. But I want to give a special shout out to Jordan Phillips, Herbie, who was a player that I wasn't too sure about when we drafted him. But man, that is a strong man. And offensive line are having trouble moving this dude. He has impressed me. His motor, his strength, his instincts. Listen, Herb. I give Chris Greer a lot of grief. I'm not a Greer fan. I'm not a Greer guy at all. I'll admit it. But I'll give him his props. For what we have seen so far, I'm liking a lot of this draft class, Herbie. Ollie Gordon, who played really well in yesterday's game. I've been impressed with him. Right, I think he could potentially fight for that running back 2 spot behind Achane with Jalen Wright, because Jalen Wright has been okay, but Ollie Gordon has shown some promise. Right, Dwayne Eskridge, I think he's going to end up with a spot on the roster. He's been making plays all postseason long. Grayson Murphy had an excellent sack yesterday. Ethan Robinson with that pick, that was the highlight of the game, the pick at the end of the game where he just runs and basically the ball gets thrown right into his arms. And you don't see a play like that made often, but it was a nice, play to end the game on. So there were some positive things that we've seen from some of these players, and I like the way some of these picks have been looking. Even Jonas Savanea, from what we've seen of him, he looks like that big boy can move bodies, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really liking what I've seen from this draft class. And that takes me to what went wrong. And it's gonna be listen, the problem with the Dolphins that I'm seeing, Herbie, is that we lack depth in a lot of areas, right? Like I think our starting lineup is better than most people think. It's probably not as good as we think, right? As fans, sometimes you kind of elevate your idea of the talent on your team, right? But we're definitely not as bad as I think most people think in terms of our starting players. But if we lose anybody, Herbie, like the offensive line, man, once you get down to the third string, like they ain't moving nothing, man. The running backs have nowhere to go with the ball. Obviously, our secondary is in dire straits. We had another injury in the secondary. I think we lost Bonner. So, that's another thing that's been going wrong too, Herbie. And this goes beyond the game. We've had some injury scares. Like guys aren't being told to be out for the season. But, Zach Sealer, he's dealing with a little bit of an injury. Devon Achane has a soft tissue injury, but they should be ready to go supposedly by week 1. And it scares me, man, because it seems like we have a lot of guys going down like flies. And I don't know if that has something to do with the training staff. I don't know. I don't know what that has to do with, man. So it kind of has me on edge before the season starts. But in terms of my WTF, Herbie, and it's not like a really bad WTF, and it's kind of like a double-sided point. Herbie, I got to say this, man, and this is just my opinion. I hope that Mike McDaniel already has a clipboard with Quinn Ewers' fucking name initialed on it, because I can't see Zach Wilson as my backup. I can't see Zach. Herbie, and here's the thing, man, like Zach Wilson will be nothing more than a glorified reclamation project. Like that's all he could ever be. You know what I'm saying? And
this is insane. Like this is insane.
It's like, bro, this man's going on year 5, and Herbie, when you watch him, like it's not like he played poorly yesterday, but when you watch him on film, Herbie, there is no
tell.
Like, bro, he's a tick too late on everything. Like he is a guy that needs He has to see guys get open. He is not a fit for this offense, Herbie. This is why I'm a big proponent of Quinn Ewok. We'll work on that nickname. But I'm a big proponent.
Definitely got to work on that one. We definitely got to work on that.
Big proponent of Quinn, because here's the thing, man. Quinn plays, number one, he plays with more poise than Zach Wilson, and he's a rookie, right? That's number one. Number two, he actually seems to have an understanding of the offense. He throws with anticipation. He's able to see the field. In order, Herbie, one of the biggest reasons why a lot of the backup quarterbacks have failed in this offense is because you need a quarterback that can read the field. For all the crazy, stupid takes that people have on Tua, where they call him a one-read quarterback and he's a spot thrower. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what do you think these guys go to practice for? What do you think throwing with anticipation is? Throwing the ball before a guy goes on his break is not spot throwing. It's knowing where he's going to be because you practice it. Like, people have all these dumb takes. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the irony is Tua is too anticipatory at times. Like, he has too much faith in where a wide receiver is going to be. That's how he ended up throwing picks.
Yes.
Because he's so focused. Like, he's like, okay, this person's going to be right there. Yes. And sometimes the receiver might not get there on time or anything like that, and somebody gets to break on the ball. Like, that's a dumb take. Listen, this is one of those things, you hear it, you're just like, oh, you don't actually watch football. No,
bro. Like, people say that like they spitting. Like, they'll tell you, oh, he's a spot thrower. And I'm thinking, like, do you know how stupid you sound? Like, you know what I mean? But that's besides the point, Herbie. The problem that I have with Zach Wilson is that, listen, Zach Wilson is going to be able to give you a play here and there. But the way he is in this offense, Herbie, how long he holds on to the ball, the bad sacks that he takes, he's going to give you picks during the season. Listen, I know Quinn Ewers is basically the new Skylar Thompson in terms of where we drafted him and whatnot. But at the very least, Herbie, I am willing to bank on the untapped potential of a rookie who you don't know. You could think you know, but you really don't. Like, Quinn Ewers can step in if Tua gets hurt. And here's the thing, Herbie, as sad as it is to say, the likelihood of Tua getting hurt is more likely than not.
The man is almost 100%. If it ain't 100%, it's 99.9.
Yeah, Herbie, it's that's part of the reason why you have to make sure you have someone who could run this offense. And you've seen it, Herbie. Jacoby Brissett has looked decent as a backup everywhere but here. Teddy Bridgewater was decent as a backup everywhere but here. Tyler Huntley looked good with the Ravens. Like, to run this offense, you need a quarterback that can really read the field. You basically you have to know how to play ahead of schedule, which you know what I mean?
To play in this offense, you have to be a starting quarterback. Like, that's what
pretty much.
Yeah, you have to be a starting quarterback. If you are not a starting caliber quarterback, you cannot play in this offense. It requires you to do too many of the things that you have to do to be a – but like this offense – needs you to be a good quarterback. There's no other ifs and buts about it. Like, it is about timing and anticipation and understanding coverages. Yes. If you are inefficient at any of those aspects, which most backup quarterbacks are, that's why they're backups, because they lack something. You might have a strong arm, but you might not be able to read coverages. You might be able to improvise, but you might not be able to anticipate, right? Like, you need the timing. Backup quarterbacks are not built for this. Yes. Zach Wilson is barely a backup quarterback. So he's really not built for this. Oh. Like you said, he might give you a play in there. Yeah, but the car's on fire while he's driving to the destination. Crash. Yeah, he's gonna get you to Walmart, but you lost the wheel, the motor broke. A door fell off. A tire popped off. You got there. You got there. But there was a lot of bad that took you to get to that point when it comes to Zach Wilson. Like, we seen who Zach Wilson is. Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback. So I laughed when you guys signed him. But again, I want to apologize to Tyler Huntley. I want to apologize to Skylar Thompson. Zach Wilson might be the worst quarterback I've seen in the Dolphins uniform.
That's why I'm lobbying for Quinn to be QB2, because I don't want Herbie. If Zach Wilson has to get trotted onto the field, I'm gonna be sick to my stomach, because I already know the car crash that's about to happen when he steps on the field.
Facts. So let me get to some of these comments before we move on to the next segment, man. So True said, man, 23 moving forward, yes. Number 23. And it's messed up that he's associated with such an iconic number, bruh. So
Blasphemous, man.
True also said facts on Wilson, and the homie Cap said Ewers look good, man. So while we're on the topic of just the perception of the Dolphins, man, I know that you wanted to have a full macro conversation in regards to the perception of the Dolphins, but not between Dolphin fans, not between fans of football, and and the AFC East fans, but the actual national media, right? So, Rod, I got a couple of YouTube videos that I want to show you, and then I'll go ahead and let you take over, right? But these are some things that I found because I know you wanted to talk about this discussion, bro. So these are some of the things that you see out the gate, bro. The decline of the Dolphins, man. Are the Dolphins on the verge of the collapse? Um, this is crazy. Let me see this right here. The Miami Dolphins are in an impossible situation. This is
This is
ugly.
ugly.
Colin
Shout out to
Cowherd
Football House.
calls the
They're
Miami
playing
Dolphins
great
the most
national.
overvalued team. God damn, bruh. Tyreek on the move. Unc and Ocho go at it over Tyreek trade rumors, bro. Like, damn, what's up with your team, dog? Like, the media don't like y'all too much, man.
Everybody's predicting that the house is on fire already, man. They're predicting for the house of cards to fall.
Oh my god, bro. So why do you feel like that's the situation? Where do you think this is coming from?
Well, you know what, Herbie? The thing about the Dolphins, one of the biggest issues we've had really over the past 25 plus years is the fact that we have been in the worst place you could ever be in football, Herbie. We have been in mediocrity purgatory, right? We're never really a team that's all bad. We've had a few like rough bad seasons, and we're a team that can be good, but we can never. It seems like we can never get over the hump against the elite teams in the league. And I don't know if maybe people had a sour taste from how our season went last year. But I saw like some of the national media outlets and the ratings that they had for the Dolphins. You know, one media outlet had it as I think it was USA. It was like USA rankings or something along those lines. They had the Dolphins finishing 5-12. I seen another outlet having us finish 6-11. And I thought to myself, Herbie, okay, if you guys are factoring in that Tua might miss half the season, then okay, I get it. Like, all right, if you're just going to make the assumption right off the gate, and the messed up thing is when it comes to Tua, Herbie, he's one of the few quarterbacks. He's probably the mascot for if somebody's going to get hurt, you're going to think about him, right? Even though there are other quarterbacks like Kyler Murray just had his first full season last year. Nobody ever talks about him and his injury problems. Joe Burrow's been injured a lot, but Tua's injuries are hyper focused on because he is the concussion guy, right? He is the guy who we've seen him on multiple occasions hit his head, and sometimes he doesn't move. He has fencing responses, so he has become the mascot for that. So people are always having that scrutiny when it comes to him. But Herbie, if you're not factoring in Tua getting hurt, like if you're just assuming that we're just collectively just not a good team, I think Herbie, I don't think it makes sense. And the reason why I say that is because the core of our team, the key players who, when we were the number one offense 2 years ago, when we were the primetime concussions, when we were the number one offense 2 years ago, Herbie, Tua was a part of the team. Tyreek was a part of the team. Waddle was a part of the team. Devon Achane was a part of the team. And this was a team that dealt with offensive line injuries all season long. So, and as of right now, we are hoping that we'll have our full assortment and we'll see how long they last together. But you also have what I think will be a better defense than we had that year. So, outside of the corners, but you look at the front seven, we have three legit pass rushers. Even though I'm not a big fan of Bradley Chubb, Herbie, Chop is going to show us. Chop is going to become more of a name this year. Like if you don't know who Chop Robinson is, you're going to find out who he is. And Jalen Phillips, if he can stay healthy, I think he can do some damage. So we have a strong front seven. We have good safeties in the back when you have Minka and Melfamu. Our cornerback situation is dire, but they can be somewhat masked with the players around them. So if you have Tua stay healthy, if the offensive line stays relatively healthy, because we don't have much depth behind them, And then you have Tyreek and Waddle. Our tight end situation was only really good with Jonnu, which I'm kicking myself. Herbie, Darren Waller, Herbie, I have no like faith in this guy. Like this dude has been rapping on the sidelines, bro. He has not been practicing or nothing, right? So I don't know what we're gonna get out of Darren Waller. We can only hope he gives us half the production that Jonnu did. But when I look at what the Dolphins have been under Mike McDaniel, last season, Herbie, just for example, we started 2-6, but Tua got hurt in week 2, right? And we were way behind the 8 ball by the time he got back, but we finished the season 6-3. You know what I mean? And so once Tua got like Herbie, Tua has been a winning quarterback in terms of his record every year he's played. We have never played a full season with Tua, or even in the games he's played, we've never had a losing record with him. He went 7-4. He went 7-4 last year. So when you look at what Tua and the Dolphins are when they have all their pieces, I just don't see how you could see some of the pieces we have and think we're going to be a 5-win team. Like if they would have said that we were going to be 8-9 or 9-8, I could live with it, because I guess the Dolphins have a contract with the 500 gods of football. So, you know what I'm saying? If they would have been saying we'll be 8-9, 9-8, I wouldn't even argue that. But when you tell me we're going to be a 5-win team, a 6-win team, I just don't. The Dolphins are going to win, especially if Tua plays the whole season. We'll win a minimum of 10 games. The real question when it comes to the Dolphins, Herbie, isn't even about whether they can make the playoffs, because they've proven that with the core that they have. The question is, can they do anything when they get there? That's where Dolphin fans are at. We've been to the playoffs before. We know what that story looks like when we get to the playoffs, get our asses kicked in the wild card, and go home sad and hoping for next year. Can the Dolphins do more? That's what Mike McDaniel's job is being staked on this year. Can we get past the wild card round? Can we possibly win a division, which is not looking likely, and get a home playoff game? Like the Dolphins, that's where Dolphin fans are. But the media has us. If Tua gets hurt, they won't be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they weren't factoring that in, and I just think that's just poor coverage on their part.
Okay, so I'll do this. Let me play devil's advocate, and because I can understand where it's coming from, right? Like, I don't necessarily agree, obviously, because we follow the team a lot closer than a lot of these guys do, pundits. But I can understand how they got to that point, because fair or unfair, there is a lot of stench around the Miami Dolphins heading into this season. You got the stuff with Tyreek. You got the injuries to the DBs. You got the very, very, very thin depth all across the board, top to bottom. You feel me? So, and it feels like a team that, and we've seen this before. We've seen this with a multitude of NFL teams where the bottom just falls out, right? Like, at some point in time, you could have a talented team, but if the team doesn't actually believe in what is actually, the bigger purpose, a lot of dudes are going to dog it, right? Like, you had this situation where you had multiple people that don't even want to play there no more, right? Like, Jalen Ramsey forced his way out. At a time, it looked like Tyreek was about to force his way out, right? Like, you don't see those from teams that everything is all on board, everything is going well, everything is heading up. It seems like a stock that is heading down to the outside looking in, right? Like, these guys don't follow the team every day. They don't see what you guys are doing at camp. They don't see what you guys are doing in practices. They don't see how you're responding to things. They don't even know the additions that you made, right? Like, right. They don't even know who you signed, right? Like, all they're going off of is what is juicy to talk about on a national sense. However, the problem is that people that I usually do trust and I follow, like the guy who runs the Good Sports, is even in on it, bruh. Like you said, the first video that he got, are the Dolphins on the verge of collapse, decline of the Dolphins. Now, when we get off, I'm going to go ahead and watch that video. I probably should have to give context to see what was the overall point. It is what it is, but I will watch it. But even he's like, man, hey, I ain't going to lie. That shit kind of smelled kind of bad over there, man. Like down in Miami.
Hey, football analysis isn't too high, and there's a lot of
that is true. And we both like football analysis as a YouTube channel. Like they don't do hyperbole. They don't do freaking clickbait stuff like that, right? Like that's a channel that we both follow, and that's a channel that I even actually get my information from. So it ain't just the shouty, the Stephen A. Smiths. It's the people, the actual football nerds too. For whatever reason, it smells like a skunk right now, right? When it comes to, it smells like a skunk when it comes to,
I'll tell you this, Herbie. I will say this: if the bottom does fall out, Herbie, the only thing that would make me happy is if they just turn this shit whole. They just burn it all to the ground. Get rid of the GM, get rid of the coach. Be prepared to ship the quarterback. Like if this is a season that tanks all the way, Herbie, just blow this shit up, man. Just go ahead, stick some dynamite in it. You know what I mean? If we make it to the playoffs and lose in the wild card again, just Herbie, I just and I know that people will say, "Oh, but McDaniel made it to the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years." It would just tell me that he's capped. It would just
yeah,
tell me that
yeah,
he's just. And that's not to say that the sad thing is about McDaniel, Herbie. This is just my personal feeling on him.
yeah. But this is separate from the conversation,
I
right?
think that he's going to fail here. And I don't want that to be the case. I think he's going to fail here. He's going to be an offensive coordinator somewhere else for a while. And it'll be a similar Dan Campbell thing to where he had learned his mistakes and he will be much better in his next stint. I think this being his first head coaching job he might be a little over his head. You know, even in the preseason game, and I forgot to bring this up when we talked about what went wrong. I still see too many penalties and timeouts being called before the play clock goes to zero. Like we're still seeing some of the same issues we've seen since year one. And those are things that concern me. Like as a coach, I'm gonna give you grace your first year. I'll even give you grace in your second year. But once you're in year four and we're still seeing some of the same mistakes, it doesn't really breed a lot of confidence. But when I just think about what this team was able to do when we had our horses, and we still have a lot of the main horses that were there when we had one of the best. I mean, Raheem Mostert had 18 touchdowns that year, and he's not here. But at the end of the day, we have other guys. We have guys that have taken his place, and I just don't listen. If the Dolphins go 5-12, Herbie, it'll only be because Tua got hurt again,
Nah,
which is
facts,
something,
facts.
which is something that is unfortunately it's a likely thing. When it comes to Tua, Herbie, you're holding your breath every game. Like as a Dolphins
Yeah,
fan, it's
and
a
the
horrible place.
difference that you're making is that you are making a distinction that they're having a conversation as if Tua is healthy and they're going still
Yes,
5-12,
I
and that's where you have a problem, right? Like,
yeah,
which
yeah.
I agree because at the end of the day, Tua has never been a loser. That is just an objective fact. He's never been a loser. If he starts, he wins more than he loses.
He's
That
25-15. He's 25-13 under McDaniel. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Like,
So
come on.
I'll leave on this note, right? This is one of my favorite quotes, man. It's from the great philosopher Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, man. In regards to how the media views the Miami Dolphins. Damn, homie. 2 years ago, you was the man, homie. The fuck happened to you? That's how they talking about the Dolphins right now, man. This is the same team that they were dick riding 2 years ago, and they are completely off of that bandwagon, bro. In 2 years' time, bro.
Completely.
NFL stands for not for long, man. So, all right, man, let's go ahead and get on to our first discussion that I wanted to have, man. Discussion post, man. So, discussion: Shedeur Sanders versus Dillon Gabriel. I really should have just put the Shedeur Sanders versus the Browns, bro, because Dillon Gabriel is an op, Joe Flacco is an op, freaking Kenny Pickett is an op, freaking Jimmy Haslam is an op, Andrew Berry is an op. If everybody who's a Shedeur fan thinks everybody on the Browns organization is an op, bro. Now, it is hyper focused on Shedeur Sanders versus Dillon Gabriel because they see Dillon Gabriel as a direct opposition to Shedeur Sanders.
He's the antagonist.
He is the antagonist to the Shedeur Sanders story, right? Like Dillon Gabriel is the villain of this movie, bro. Like he's not cool enough, so I'm not gonna say he's Thanos. No way, he's not cool enough for that. Like not at all. But he is the villain of this story.
He's more like
Shedeur,
Galactus from the old Fantastic Four. Let's do that. Or was a Silver Surfer? I can't remember. Yeah,
but
same
this
thing.
is pretty insane, right? So let me share this right here. This is just an example of what's going on with Dillon Gabriel, dog, and how the internet is having fun with this, bro. Look at this, dog. Look at this nonsense, bro. This is the thing, bro. All the black people watching Dillon Gabriel throw that pick six, bro. Like,
Oh, shit.
are we good? We good?
Am I back? I think I'm back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, my bad. I think I hit a button by accident, bro. Let me go ahead and get this right here, dog. Look at this, bro. Look at this. Look at this, bro. Look, hey, look at this nonsense, man.
Listen, man, I've been reading a lot of comments when I'm looking at Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur conversations, and man, you can't bro. It's to the point to where you really can't really say it. Like if you say anything other than Dillon Gabriel's trash, they coming for you, dog. You can't have any kind of and here's the thing, Herbie, because I went back and I watched both of these guys preseason games, and
Yes, me too.
I'm gonna put it out on the front end on my in my opinion. If you're telling me today to pick between Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel, I would pick Shedeur. That's just my opinion, and I just think Shedeur is a better. I thought he was a better prospect than Dillon Gabriel to begin with, and then
Yeah, facts.
I think we've seen that, right? Like in terms of Dillon Gabriel, Herbie, and let me just get this out there. I don't even think he played that badly, right? I think the problem is that it's like the Shedeur fans want people to they want people to
They
kill
want you
him.
to hate him. They
Yeah,
want
for
you to
throwing
hate
the
him.
pick six, for taking 2 sacks,
The fumble.
for the fumble. You know what I mean? And Dillon Gabriel, at least to me when I was watching it, because I'm watching it objectively, I don't have a dog in the fight. He made some good plays. Like I actually think the Browns are in a position to where, if one guy don't work out, he can try the other guy and not feel too bad. You know what I mean? Like Dillon Gabriel showed that he had good movement in the pocket, good pocket presence. He looks like he can run the offense to a decent degree. He made his mistakes, but I don't think he would be a bad option. But if the Browns are gonna say, okay, who's gonna start week one if they're not gonna go with Flacco, I think they'd be better pressed to start Shedeur because Shedeur showed you that he can finish drives. Shedeur showed you that he can protect the football. Shedeur showed you that the same
That's
poise.
where we disagree. No, go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
I'll
I
get to
got
it.
you. I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
And
I
then
got you.
Shedeur showed that and at least to me, from my eye, looked like Shedeur had more poise, when he was dealing with, he had a little bit of a rough start to the game, and opposite of Dillon Gabriel, who started off hot. But I give the edge to Shedeur, but I don't think that all the hate that Dillon Gabriel gets is like, come on, bro. And you know what and you know what it is too, Herbie. And shout out to Randy for bringing this up in the
Yeah,
comments.
we'll get to that. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna discuss that real quick, Randy. But go
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
Randy.
but it's kind of crazy here. But I don't think I've ever seen like basically a mutiny factions being developed in the same
For
team. For
backup
rookie.
quarterbacks, for two
Yes.
backup quarterbacks, right? So, let me go ahead and get to this real quick, and I'll get to my point. Y'all think some people are competitors and some people are entertainers, and he's a competitor was a shot at Shedeur. No, this is actually for two reasons, and I'll go ahead and really dig into that one, Randy, real quick. So let me bring this back up because somebody actually had a facts in regards to that. So here we go, right here. Share Twitter. So this is the person that he was talking to. I'm not even gonna try to say that woman's name. Shout out to her,
Oh,
DDK.
Yeah.
There you go, Ryan. You got it, man. Shout out to you, man. So this is what she said. Let's please not take this out of context. I was so impressed with how yada 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 yada. Dillon Gabriel talked previously about turning out distractions, yada yada yada. So basically, what happened is that is a quote that his former coach Dan Fleming from Oregon says. So that's not the first time that Dillon Gabriel has said that. And this is where it gets so bad. Like this is where it got so toxic. Dillon Gabriel shouldn't have to think about not saying that because Shedeur Sanders fans are gonna think that's a shot. Like he should have the freedom to say something that he said multiple times back in college up until now, right? Like when Dillon Gabriel said that, he was just on autopilot, bro. That's what he normally says after a game, right? But it's just we don't know who Dillon Gabriel is. We never followed Dillon Gabriel. We never paid attention to Dillon Gabriel at Oregon, right? We're hyper fixated on Dillon Gabriel because he is the antagonist now, bro. So anything he says, he's talking about Shedeur
Yeah.
to Shedeur fans, right? And I even had some dude said, "Oh, even if it wasn't a shot, he shouldn't have said that. He should be media trained." What are you talking about? Like, if he had no malice towards Shedeur Sanders, he could say something, bro. How y'all take it is how y'all take it, but this is
Herbie,
how bad it's gotten.
Herbie, what's confusing to me, and I'm with you, dog. Like when I seen like people said that he took a shot at Shedeur, I didn't even know that was the comment that people were saying. Like I heard that comment and I was like, okay, where's the shot? Like why y'all even thinking that he's talking about a guy who he sees in practice? Like why would he? You think he would be dumb enough to throw shade at his own teammate? Who would do that? Like who would do that?
Bro, but you need that for the story, bro. You need reasons to hate Dillon Gabriel. That's one of them, right? So let me go ahead and detail my personal views on both of them, right? So I'm gonna make this is not fair to either person. I'm only judging off of preseason, but this is just what
Absolutely.
I think right now. You know us. We update our resume. We change our opinion with more facts, with more information, right? But if you asked me today, you had a lie detector test hooked up to me, I have to give you an honest answer. Do I think Dillon Gabriel is a starting quarterback? No, I don't. Based off what I've seen in practice, based off what I've seen in that game, even if you're going to say he looked good, there is a dude that I seen that one is too small, and two, there was at times you could tell that he was just not poised, right? Like he rushed, even when he threw the pick six, right? It wasn't really his fault because somebody ran the wrong route. If you go
Right.
back and look at the play, two receivers were in the same spot. That's not supposed to happen. Somebody ran the wrong route. He threw the ball. Why? I don't know. Like, just throw the
You gotta
ball
throw it
over.
away, man. You
Just
gotta
throw
throw
it
that.
away at that point,
Man.
right? Like, once you realize somebody effed up, you as a game manager, because that's what quarterback's supposed to do, above all, is manage the game, throw the ball away, right? He's going to learn from that. He's a rookie. This is the NFL. These are professionals, bro. They getting paid for a reason.
Right.
But overall, I just don't see a starter. Shedeur is a much more starting caliber quarterback. But even with him, I went back and watched the preseason game, right? And I watched every single play. That is the most overrated preseason game of all time. Y'all really mudded it. Y'all really was doing the most. Like, for real. Like, we have to be objective, right? Like, it's okay to say Shedeur was up and down in the game. He was 14 and 23. At first, I'm like, okay, did he have drops? No, he had no drops. He just missed people. He was too high, too low. He almost got his tight end knocked out of the game in a preseason game. Threw him a hospital ball. Tried to throw a slant route. Almost got his head taken off. Right? Yes, he had two good touchdown throws, but it wasn't the whole game. Those two touchdown throws was not the whole performance.
Right.
He looked like a guy that needs work too. So I don't think both of them are ready right now. I think both of them need time. I think Shedeur is a much better shot at being a long-term starter. I don't have no confidence in Dillon Gabriel as a starter. He looks like a guy that was drafted in the third round. This is how the NFL works. If we think you're a starter, we draft you in the first round or the second. If you do not get drafted in the first or second round, the NFL does not think you're a starting quarterback. If you get lucky and you end up with a Russell Wilson in the third round, or you end up with a Kirk Cousins in the fourth round, or you end up with a Dak Prescott in the fourth round, or you end up with a Tony Romo who was undrafted, you got lucky. But there was no point in time where you actually thought that was a starter for you. Look at how it even got to those starter. Look how each situation became a starter. Dak became a starter because Tony got hurt. Kirk became a starter because RG3 got hurt. Right? Like, we don't think you're a starter. We think you're a developmental backup quarterback. And if we like you enough, we might trade you somewhere where you can actually compete for a starting job. But we didn't actually draft you to be our starter. The Browns don't think neither of these dudes are starting, right? Like, they're going to be forced to start Shedeur because the mob is here. There's no going back.
No going back.
There's no going back.
Forever.
And this is part of the reason why Shedeur got drafted in the fifth round. Whether the evaluation is right or wrong, it's too late. It's irrelevant at this point. But most NFL teams did not see Shedeur as a starter. So if we don't see you as a starter, we don't want to deal with this. So we don't want you on our team. And that's how he just kept going and getting passed over and passed over and passed over and passed over. Because at some point in time, it became hot potato. Now, if he's good enough to justify all of this that comes with it, of course. And again, I said it on last week's pod. I want Shedeur to be awesome. I root for good quarterbacks. More good quarterback means more good football. I don't want to watch Justin Fields, but I'm going to be forced to watch Justin Fields because we don't have 32 good starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I want every team to have a great quarterback. That means great football. So when I say these things, it's not me trying to shit on Shedeur or even shit on Dillon Gabriel. I'm just giving my honest assessment. And Shedeur might be the next Tom Brady. I could be wrong as hell, bro. Like I don't care what that mean to me, bro. Like I don't care. Like I don't got money invested in this, right? Like y'all acting like y'all got money invested in this. Like this is nuts. I've never seen a civil war between two back and forth.
You can legitimately say Shedeur has a cult following, bro. Like, bro, like the comments that I'm seeing people leave, it's like you can't have any kind of positive thing about Dillon Gabriel because people like they want to see Dillon Gabriel get killed because they believe Shedeur would have gotten killed had he thrown a pick six and had he listen, Shedeur would have faced more criticism than Dillon Gabriel because he's a bigger name.
I don't even think that's the case anymore, right? I think it would have happened, but I think we've turned around on Shedeur because we've seen Shedeur be the model teammate this entire process since he's been drafted, right? He made mistakes along the way during the draft process, but he has been awesome. Like the Browns, you could tell who the Browns want. The Browns players want Shedeur to win. They love Shedeur. Right? Like, so I don't even think he would have got killed. He would have, like, the same trolls would have killed them, the same grifters. Yeah, but like the large in part, nah, bro. Like the same this is why I know he wouldn't have got killed. Cause look how they dick rided this preseason performance that really wasn't that good, bro. Like it really wasn't that good, and they treated it like it was a Patrick Mahomes 500-yard performance, bro.
That's real hype, man.
So no, I don't believe if he threw a pick six that he would have got killed because they're gonna go easy on him because the fans are such fans. The cult is such a cult, right? This ain't Tim Tebow. Like that's another level.
No,
that's another level. But this is number 2 behind Tim Tebow of just this is spiritual, bro. This is different. All right, this is beyond me at this point, bro. So, any last words before we move on?
Listen, man. All I will say is that I don't know which way the Browns are going to end up going. I'm assuming that they're going to start the season off with Flacco, right? Considering their quarterback situation, giving these young guys to develop. But if they do decide to go another route, or if Flacco gets hurt, I think the Browns would be better off throwing Shedeur in there as opposed to Dillon Gabriel at this point. We'll see how things go when the season starts, but that's just how I feel about those matters right there.
All right, bet that up, man. All right, man. Next discussion point, man, and this one's gonna be short. This is just to revisit a draft discussion that we had, man. So, Ashton Jeanty's ceiling. So this is to pretty much, I'm not gonna say full circle because we still got to see 2 to 3 years how his career plays out, but during the pre-draft process, I made the observation, a personal observation, right? I'm not going to say for everybody else, but for me. I made an observation when it came to Ashton Jeanty that he reminded me of 2 people that I didn't love coming out. I think he's better than both of those people. I think he's going to be a better football player than both of those people. But the reason why he reminded me of these 2 other running backs that were highly touted as well is because of a play style. And the 2 people I'm talking about are Trent Richardson and Leonard Fournette. I never liked Trent Richardson. This is not armchair quarterback. This is not revisionist history. I have proof. I never liked Trent Richardson. And I did not like Leonard Fournette coming out. For one reason, and this is very consistent when it comes to me. I don't like running backs who your best trait is that you break tackles. If the best trait is you break tackles against college football players who are a lot slower, a lot smaller, and not as physical as professional football players, I'm going to have a pause for concern because you're just not going to break tackles like that in the NFL, bro. Like recent running backs that really broke tackles and were successful, Brandon Jacobs was 6'4", 260.
He was a
Cheat code.
beast. He was a
Cheat
beast.
code.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch, 5'11", 230, built like a fucking rock, right? Like, that's it. That's two, man. Like, even with Adrian Peterson would break you down and run you over, but he also could shake you, and he could run past you. Like, so he's like, and then on top of that, he was 6'2", 225 and ran a 4.3. He was a freak of nature, right? Like, the best running backs that you could think of. Look at, I forgot one. Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott broke tackles, and he broke down in 2 years.
Yep.
He's the best version of that, and he was explosive. He's faster and more explosive and had better acceleration than Ashton Jeanty. And look how fast he went. In the NFL, you have to be a home run threat, right, to actually be like a great running back. You could be a good running back, but Ashton Jeanty cannot be a good running back. That defeats the purpose of drafting him 6th overall.
Right.
He has to be great. So what I did, I went back to 2012 draft, which is Trent Richardson, and I just wanted to look at what the other running backs that were drafted in the top 10 did, starting with Trent Richardson all the way to Bijan Robinson, which was in 2023. Before Ashton Jeanty, that was the last person. So Trent Richardson didn't play in the preseason. Todd Gurley did not play in the preseason. Ezekiel Elliott, and again, these are very small sample sizes. This is completely unfair, but hey, the information is here, so I'm going to go ahead and present it. Ezekiel Elliott, seven attempts, 48 yards, 6.8 yards per carry. Leonard Fournette, and this was a telltale sign. 9 attempts, 31 rushing yards, only averaged 3.4 yards per attempt in the preseason. Not going to say it was prophetic, but hey, whatever. Christian McCaffrey, 17 for 87, 5.1 yards per attempt. Saquon, is this not prophetic? 4 rushes, 43 yards, average 10 yards per attempt. Is that not
That looks pretty nice.
Is that not prophetic?
Looks pretty nice.
Bijan, 4 for 25 yards per attempt. And then Ashton Jeanty, 10 yards, 10 attempts, 32 yards, 3.2 yards per attempt so far. So, now, very small sample sizes, obviously. But you look at all the guys that were really successful, they averaged a lot of yards in the preseason. And do what you will with that, right? Like, do what you will with that. The facts are, do what you will, right? But I don't see the superstar ceiling with Ashton Jeanty. I see a very good running back. But, again, you don't draft a very good running back in the top 10.
You got to draft an Adrian Peterson in the top 10. You got to draft a Derrick Henry in the top 10.
You got to draft a Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry didn't even go drafted, wasn't even drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
He wasn't even drafted in the first round. Like, that's who you're supposed to draft. I don't know if you're going to get him, right? And if he's productive, cool. But to me, to justify being a top 10 pick, you got to be a home run hitter, right? Like, based off the 2 games I've seen, I don't see a home run hitter. I see a guy that's going to get his yards. But listen, bro, that dude in New England might win Rookie of the Year, bro. Might be the best running back as a rookie. Travion Henderson.
Yeah, he's looking.
If you follow the Patriots, he's
looking like a problem.
He's going 60 almost every practice, dog.
Yeah, he's looking like a problem, dog. It scares me, man.
He's going like they say he breaks a run almost every practice. Every single practice, he's going for 60.
And if you do it in practice, he'll do it in the game.
So again, well, of course, we're gonna monitor it. I just thought that was interesting. You feel me? And we'll see how that goes, man. All right, so let's go ahead. Let
me just say this on Ashton Jeanty, like you, Herbie. I mean, listen, we'll see what happens when the season starts. I did see him. He did run over somebody in the game against San Fran. I think it was a DB.
He ran over a DB. But that's the point I'm making. I'm not saying that he can't run people over. I'm saying,
no, I got you.
What is the long-term success with that play style?
Right. To your point, I don't see him being a guy like he's a guy that could definitely have an 1,000-yard season and
of course
touchdowns and whatnot. But I think what people are expecting him to be based on what they saw at Boise, I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna get that. Like you're gonna get a. I think you'll get a good player, but you're not gonna get. I don't think he's gonna shift the tides like Adrian Peterson or Derrick Henry. As of right now, from what I've seen in preseason, I don't feel that way about him. Will he be better than I think? Who knows? You know what I mean? But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see, man. So I just wanted to go ahead and address that, man. So, all right, man, let's finish off with the division preview, man. This week we are doing the NFC West. I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. Listen, y'all know me. I keep it real with the people. I'm already bored of this. Like, I just want regular football. So I'm dogging it. If you are a NFC West fan, I apologize for my lack of enthusiasm covering your teams. I do not care. No disrespect. You feel me? I was tasked with covering the Rams and the Seahawks this week. I got nothing for y'all, man. So I'm dogging it. Listen, I'm just calling a spade, man. So, bro, let me get my teams out the way, bro.
Go
You
ahead.
feel me? And you can go ahead and do your thing, man. All right. With the Rams, I'm not gonna go long. The Rams are improved and they got worse at the same time. They have improved because they are going to have a much better run defense than they had for the past couple of years, especially when it comes to the last year where half of the year they were terrible. The second half of the year they got really, really good. I think at the last 6 games, aside from the Bills game, they only allowed 14 points a game. So the defense got significantly better. I think the defense is going to be really, really good. I think Jared Verse is going to be really, really good. And I think the passing game is going to be much better because unlike Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams is actually going to be available, right? The problem with the passing game is the quarterback going to be there? Because once you got back problems, man, once you over 35 with back problems, bro, it ain't no going back.
There's no going back.
There's no going back, dog. So I'm very concerned for the Rams because if Matt, ultimately it ends, it starts and ends with Matthew Stafford, right? Like what version of Matthew Stafford are you gonna get? We talking about a dude. Granted, it was for money, but we're talking about a dude who was threatening to retire last year. Right, you feel me? Like so he knows his body is breaking down. Like we forget, but Matthew Stafford is 37 years old. Matthew Stafford got drafted in 2009. He has been a football player for a very long time.
He's getting old.
He's getting very old. So I'm interested to see. I will say this: the defense will be very much improved. The offense will be very much improved. The passing game will be very much improved if Matthew Stafford is healthy. Now we come to the Seahawks. I will try my best to be positive. Y'all know who is on this team. Y'all know who is the new quarterback. Y'all know how I feel about said quarterback. Y'all know how I've been feeling about said quarterback going on as long as if we've been doing this podcast. I told y'all who Sam Darnold was 5 years ago when we were audio only. Before we were even on YouTube, I told you who Sam Darnold was. Y'all didn't want to listen. The trick's on you. However, Sam Darnold is talented. Mike McDaniel, who is the coach of the Seahawks, is a freaking genius. That defense is going to be phenomenal. Do you know that the defense last year was the only team that had 7 different players have 40 pressures?
Damn,
that is unheard of. That's never happened in the NFL history, bro. Like his ability to generate simulated pressures is second to none. Him and Brian Flores are the best in the business, and he's even better than Brian Flores at it, right? So the Seahawks are going to have a very good defense. The Seahawks are going to have a very mediocre offense. I'm sorry. If Sam Darnold is your quarterback without Kevin O'Connell, there is a ceiling on what you can have, right? So I'm interested on what they're going to do. I feel like they're going to be less explosive. When you get rid of DK Metcalf and your best wide receiver is Jackson and Jackson, God, I cannot say this nigga's name, bro. Jackson Enigma. How you say the man's name, bro?
Yeah.
JSN. I'm going to just say JSN. If your best receiver is JSN, who is a very good receiver, there is going to be a lack of explosiveness, right? So they did get MVS, Marquez, Valen Scouting, but y'all know him, bro. We know this dude by now, bro. Like, he going to give you 1 or 2 good games this season, bro. Like, I don't really think their offense is going to be all that great. But I do think the defense is going to be special, right? So the defense is going to definitely carry the Seahawks heading into next year, bro. So when it comes to the Rams, 11-5, Seahawks 10-7. There you go, bro. There you go, dog.
Oh wow, you're higher on the Seahawks than I thought. I thought you might be.
Oh nah, the Seahawks are gonna, unless, put it like this, the defense is gonna be so good. They're gonna be in so many games. They did improve the O line, especially on the left side. They got a new tackle and a new guard. I'm not a new tackle, but they do got a new guard. I feel like Sam just has to not be terrible. Like, for as much as I don't like Sam Darnold, you can't throw 35 touchdowns and be a bad quarterback, right? Like, Sam Darnold had the second most touchdown passes under pressure behind Joe Burrow last year, right? Like, there were times where he was truly a special quarterback. Like, if put like this, there's a throw, it's the best throw that he made all season last year, where he was getting pressured. He got pressured from the inside, from the D tackle. He drifted to the left, and he just threw it across his body. Not only did he throw it 40 yards down the field to Justin Jefferson, he threw it to his outside shoulder to make him catch it this way, away from the cornerback and away from the safety, because it was a cover two. So it was a whole shot.
That's talent, man.
That's talent.
Yeah.
Like, he is incredibly talented. You got to remember, he got drafted ahead of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen for a reason. He was the second quarterback drafted in that year. The year that it was Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. He went second for a reason. The talent is there, but he got a lot of lemon booty. His Achilles heel is lemon booty, bro. So I just feel like there's going to be enough games where he's not going to be forced to be in lemon booty producing situations to where he could be a decent enough quarterback. Do I think he's better than Geno? No. Do I think he's an upgrade from Geno? Hell no. I do think it's a downgrade. But how much of a downgrade is really the question. So with an improved defense, an improved running game, an improved offensive line, which the Seahawks have not had in quite some time, I think you could get a solid team. 10-7 is definitely doable, for sure.
Okay. That's dope.
All right, man. So what you got for me with the Cardinals and the 49ers, my guy?
Okay, I'll start with the 49ers, Herbie. When I was looking into this team, Herbie, and I'll be honest, this is where my ignorance was. And sometimes we have a tendency to, recency bias is a thing in all walks and all facets.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, I was thinking before I started looking into this team that maybe, the sky might have been falling. Maybe the bottom might have fell out, so to speak. And then I had to remember the guys who steer the ship of this, or the guys who steer this ship, the guys who are the head of this pirate ship, right? And those guys are Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. And let me tell you, Herbie, John Lynch, for what it's worth, has proven to be one of the best GMs in football since he's been around. And when you look at the 49ers and all the turnover that they had, right, they lost a lot of players, especially
and coordinators and coaches.
And coordinators and coaches, especially you look at the defensive. They had like basically a total makeover on the defensive side of the ball, right? And then, you lose Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk tore his ACL and MCL at the end of last season. So you're not going to have him to start the beginning of the season. So, going into it, Herbie, I wasn't really expecting to like what I seen from the 49ers, not from the 49ers as much as I like. And the reason why I say it is, Herbie, they still have a lot of the core pieces that have made them a really good team, right? One of the things that really led to them last season, Herbie, and this happens to a lot of teams in football, and actually doing these division previews, what I've come to realize is that we are robbed a lot of times of what we could get from teams. Because there are a lot of teams that injuries just kill them. And the 49ers were no prisoner to that. Like they weren't the only team, right? But injuries was something that really hurt this team, especially losing Trent Williams, who they're going to get back. And now he's going to be 37. He's getting up there in age. But you look at, they still have Brock Purdy, who, in my opinion, is a top 10-ish quarterback, right? You're going to rank him 9th, 10th, 11th. He's somewhere in that range. You still have Juwan Jennings in place of the other two receivers, actually stepped up big time. He had a lot of big time performances last year. You still got George Kittle,
and you got Pershaw.
You got Pershaw. You know what I'm
You feel
saying?
me? Now that he doesn't have a hole in his chest, you
Yeah,
know.
the homie got. I got shot by the sheriff.
That was crazy. That was
Ricky
nuts.
Bradshaw. But he
That was
finished strong last year, right? He finished
Yeah,
strong.
which is why I'm excited for the 49ers as well. Because the thing about the 49ers are the prime example of this, right? Like, you think a team has gotten worse, but then you have to remember everybody was hurt. Like, both your wide receivers are hurt. Your rookie wide receiver was hurt that you drafted, got shot. Like, you don't expect that.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey had to go to Germany to get his knee fixed, right? Like, it is which is why it is so sad that they did not execute on winning a Super Bowl when they had two opportunities to do it. Because as a football team, you have a window. You have to close it. Like, it's hard enough to get the one. They got the two, and they sold on both of them, right? Like,
Right.
when you don't execute, this is what happens, right? Like, you're due. You're due in an incredibly physical sport that is football. Guys get older. When you get older, what happens? You get hurt. And what happens when you get hurt and you're older is that it takes significantly longer to come back from those injuries. So, a healthy 49ers team is still the best team in the NFC West, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go with it. And here's the thing, Herbie. You even think about the guys they lost on defense, right? They no longer have Leonard Floyd. They no longer have Hargrave. They no longer have Malik Collins. These guys accounted for 14 and a half sacks out of 36 sacks that they had last year. But they did pick up Bryce Huff in the offseason, right? They drafted Alfred Collins, who's a prospect I really like. That boy, he's a big boy, Herbie, and he's strong. He's gonna definitely help them in the run game. Last year, they were a team that was not good against the run, right? Even having a standout four-time All-Pro in Fred Warner. You know what I mean? But they improved in that area. They added pieces to the defensive line to go along. They drafted Mikael Williams, who I think as a run stopper, he's going to be excellent to start. I think he'll take time to develop into a really good pass rusher, but the talent is there. You know what I mean? And especially you have Bryce Huff there. Some of the additions they added. And then I like their secondary, Herbie. What's this guy's name? Diamador Lenore.
Man,
He
don't
was
ask me, my boy. You got it.
Diamador Lenore. He was good. He was good last year. You know what I mean? He was their nickel. He played extremely well. Renardo Green. He was good. I'm not too crazy about Trey Brown. He was an inconsistent corner for the Seahawks. But the other corners that they have, the safety that they have in Brown, I think they have pieces there, Herbie. They still got Warner there. They got pieces on defense and offense that will be able to mesh together. And let's not forget, Herbie, Robert Saleh is back, and he is one of the best defensive minds in football. He didn't have a great stint as a head coach, but him being back in that room, he will make the best of the talent that they have. And then they still have Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy running that offense with a good tackle opposite of Trent Williams, and they have some decent guards. So, Herbie, I think the 49ers are in prime position. They just had a down year last year. I think they're in prime position.
Okay, so I will say this: they did have a down year, but the problem is that down year is up against age as well, right? Like, because the players that they got are still older.
Yep, Kittle.
So,
These guys are getting.
That's why, again, back to the point I made, you have to execute because you can't miss a year because Father Time is undefeated, right? So, but even then with that, we still think they're going to be the best team in the NFC West, bro. So, what's your prediction for a record before we move on to the Cardinals?
I'll probably say I'll give them an 11-6. I think I can see them going 11-6. I think I see them.
All right. Let's finish off with the Cardinals, man.
So, Herbie, the Cardinals are an interesting team to me because every year I have a team that I will call the Joker's Wild. Last season, my Joker's Wild was the Green Bay Packers, right? And for those listening, the Joker's Wild, the way I would describe it, is they are the one team that no matter what the result is, I will not be shocked, right? The Cardinals are a team that I could see winning the division, going on a deep playoff run, and winning the Super Bowl. That might sound irregular to a lot of people, but when you look into the team, this team is a lot more talented than people think. And they're also the team, Herbie, they could bottom out and finish last in the division. I can see a scenario for success or failure in every multiverse for the Cardinals. Like I could see their multiverse path. They are the one team, Herbie. No result from them will surprise me. And a part of that is one, I do think their offense will be better this year, right? I think Marvin Harrison Jr. disappointed for a lot of people. I wasn't really too high on him on his rookie season, but he was productive. He was productive. He has another year under his belt. I expect him to have better chemistry with Kyler Murray. And honestly, that's really what it comes down to, right? Kyler Murray, and we said this when we did the quarterback tiers, he has all the tools to be an MVP caliber quarterback when you consider his arm talent, when you consider his ability to improvise. When he's in rhythm, he could be one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. He has shown and displayed these skills at times, but he's so inconsistent. We talked about it, man. Like this man's addiction to Call of Duty, I think maybe it creeps in and we don't know, right? And the Cardinals are a team that have talent. They have Trey McBride, who had a beast of a season last year. He didn't have a lot of touchdowns, but he was productive. And they have a good offensive line. They have James Conner, who revived his career when he went to Arizona. They have pieces in place that could really, really put up points on a week-to-week basis. It's just they need more from Kyler. They need more consistency from him. And look, it's year 7, Herbie, and we give other guys a lot of flack for not winning playoff games, and he's going into year 7. We talk about Herbert. Tua gets his crap. There's quarterbacks who have been in the league for some time and haven't made any noise. Kyler's one of them. Like Kyler, for all the talk that people say that he hasn't had the right team around him, I think this year the Cardinals have about as well-rounded as a team that they've had, right? You consider the fact that last season they weren't really good against the run. They were 6th worst when it came to pressure rate, and they addressed all those things in the offseason. They went out and they got Josh Sweat. They went out and they reclaimed Calais Campbell, who was productive for the Dolphins. He still has juice left in the tank. They still have Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson, who make one of the best safety tandems in football. And I think their cornerback situation got a little better. So, I don't know, Herbie. I think the Cardinals are a team, and Jonathan Gannon is a defensive mind he's going to have that defense playing a lot better than I think people realize. And the Cardinals are going to be in a lot of games, even when their offense doesn't have it. But they're one of those teams, Herbie, that if the Cardinals could put it all together, they could definitely go on a deep playoff run if they could put it all together. And we need to see more from Kyler when he goes up in big games, right? I'm pretty sure I think the Cardinals last year, a majority of their losses came from teams that won 10 or more games. So we have to see Kyler Murray and the Cardinals as a whole perform better against the league's top competition. But based on the talent they have, Herbie, based on what I have seen from them, I think they can do anything, Herbie. It's like I won't even give you a singular record. I'll give you the range of record. I could see them going 12-5 because here's the thing: they have an easy schedule to start. These are the teams they play to start. They start with the Saints. They start with the Panthers. They start with the Niners, the Seahawks, Tennessee, and Indy.
Man, the
Right?
Saints is a dub for everybody, man. I predict if you play the Saints, you got a dub. There's a potential for the Saints to go 1-16 this year, man. Like it's gonna be bad, man.
I mean, listen. It's gonna be bad for them, And I forgot to mention Will Johnson and Garrett Williams, bro. These are
Will Johnson been looking really good in practice, though.
Yeah,
Now
man.
I will say this. I ain't gonna hold you. No disrespect, but this game about to come on, my boy. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't no disrespect, but I got to see Caleb. I don't know what kind of version of Caleb we finna get.
So they're gonna start Caleb in this preseason game?
Yeah, he's actually starting this game. So anybody who for the people that's in the chat right now, the game is about to start in a little bit. But man, what you were saying, my boy?
But no, man. Listen, man. I think the Cardinals will range. They can finish anywhere from
12-5 to
7-10,
5-12. Like
just
for real,
12-5 to 5-12. Yeah, really. Like I see so many scenarios for them in the division that they're in. I think a lot of people think the NFC West is going to be weak. They're going to be that division. They're going to beat up on each other, Herbie, because
they're definitely going to beat on each other for sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's my take on the Cardinals and the Niners, my boy. That's it.
All right, man. So that's it for today's show. I think next week we're just gonna go ahead and just blitz through the rest of the divisions in preparation for week 1. And listen, we'll figure out if we're gonna do a live stream for the first game or whatever, dog. Actually, I don't even know, man. I don't know if I could stomach seeing them dudes wear their rings, bro. Oh God, the Eagles getting their rings.
I thought we were gonna do that. We got
Oh God, dog.
we
Shit.
got we
All
got to
right,
see the first game of the season.
we got to, bro. I just closed my eyes, bro, during that portion, dog. I just closed my eyes, dog. So, all right, man. We will see y'all next week, man. Everybody in the chat, bro. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us because we rock with y'all, man. Love y'all, man. Deuces.
Deuces.